We're going to talk about the news. Good morning. Wow, what an adventurous, amazing, crazy ass day or night that I've had. If you are watching Black Man Spa, you are watching US Iran is back to full scale fucking warcast. I was up until 2 a.m. Central European time watching the attacks the United States and the Iranians were trading in real time. And now I've been running around all day. I'm still on that my job, the secret mission that I'm on. And it's brutal. Not only because I have almost near 100-degree temperatures in Central Europe, but because the activity level that we have to track now is off the charts. I pushed back 1 hour. This is the first time we've done that in the last couple of days because one, it requires me to have really good Wi-Fi connectivity, but more importantly, the activity that we have to track. I mean, I've got over 150 notes of stupid that happened yesterday. Just amazing quantities of it. Trump statements, commentary that's going on left and right. But I'm going to bottom line it for all of you who are watching this show. You know what? I should just reset the goddamn counter. We are at day 141. We technically are at day one of full scale war between the United States and Iran. They are trading blows now, and they are not waiting for night to do it. There are day attacks, there are night attacks, there are evening attacks, there are morning attacks that are happening all over the place. The only thing that could make this more interesting is if I freaking show up in Dubai. And that's one of the few places that wasn't hit yesterday. But just about every other place is getting their shots in. The Iranians are getting their shots in. And apparently, Donald Trump has lost his goddamn mind and has said, we're going back to full scale war, and then threatened war crimes in the same sentence.
Exactly.
We're going to go over all of that, but right now we don't have Jacob Carswell. If somebody sees Jacob Carswell, please let me know if he comes on. He's been invited. He's on vacation, and I can't take vacations. And we'll see
Oh,
that.
you're here.
There he is. All right. I just sent the invite. He got it. Good afternoon, Jacob. I gave you an extra hour to barbecue and relax on your little recliner.
I only have 45 minutes.
We all have 40.
That's because we shortly. So.
Okay. No problemo, man. We're going to knock this out as quickly as we can today. My Wi-Fi is usually high-speed European Wi-Fi for about 45 minutes once we hit that 45-minute mark, it was like you have to reset. So yesterday we did two separate shows, including one for the questions and answers, which we had a load of. I put up the questions very early this morning at 5 a.m. Central European time, which is 11 p.m. Eastern time. I put up the questions for today's show. And Jacob, I don't know if you guys, I still don't have a coffee cup. I have the one from Paris packed away. I am now I'm on a marathon, so I'm drinking lots of little cups of water, and I guess I'm going to need electrolytes here shortly because I feel like I'm on a marathon. Okay. So that being said, Wajeeh, let's start off with the price of oil because I have a feeling oil's probably jumped up $5 in the last 2 days. What do you say?
Where do you think it is at? Because certainly has jumped up. You're absolutely correct.
How
It's
much
all
is Brent North Sea crude's at 87? Brent North Sea crude's at 87. That's my guess.
very close.
Can you read that for us?
$80 for WTI. Brent crude is 84. Marbana's at
84.
yep. Marbana's at 79. And then you have Oman is at 69. OPEC is at 76. These are the big important numbers that people need to look at. And
I
I
wonder
think
if
it's going to
the
keep going up.
I no, because that's not much. That's only $4 on Brent North Sea crude. I wonder if the market is pricing in a taco. Because I got to tell you something, Jacob. I don't know if you've been following the news. I've been up all damn night. They're trading blows
Yeah.
left and right. The Iranians are
Yeah.
attacking us. We're attacking the Iranians. Shitloads of things got struck in Iran all the way out to Tehran. So it's not Strait of Hormuz anymore. It is going all
No.
the way up the coast into the oil fields now around Tehran. And the way that they're talking, they've got Pickaxe Mountain complex near Natanz in their sights because they don't know anything about it. And we're going to talk more about that later. But my question is, how the hell do they not know any? It's like, what did they do in the first 40 days of this war? What did they hit? Because I have the impression they destroyed everything. Not from the talk I'm getting is like Pickaxe Mountain, which is a new complex to the east of Natanz nuclear research facility where the centrifuges were, wasn't touched. And now they're like, we're going to bomb the doors closed. What the hey? I mean, shoot. Anywho, y'all help
I don't
me
know if
out
you
because
saw,
this sets
but
me back a whole hour today.
this did not just attack on the southern of Iran. We killed 30 Iranians, civilians, not military soldiers, 30 civilians and wounded another 300. So we're not only killing like Iranian soldiers at this point, we are targeting civilian infrastructures and we're killing civilians in Iran. Iran has been promising to retaliate and get revenge on these attacks. This is not going to slow down. And just as of yesterday, the war has expanded in Yemen as well. People don't want to talk about that, but the fact is, Al Houthi attacked Abha, an international airport, and they're threatening that they will start attacking all airplanes using Saudi airspace. Well, this has not really been really implemented, but there's a good chance that they will start using these tactics to raise the prices of oil and dismantle the Saudi economy piece by piece and get back to full scale war with the Houthis. Houthis are out there and they're saying, we're going to go after you and we will escalate this war. You just wait. So, so
Mhm.
this
Well,
is just going crazy.
okay,
But
well,
just for
let's
the
go ahead.
around the what has happened since yesterday is the transit and the reloading, etc., ship to ship transfers of Fujairah has gone down because of Iran targeting the VLCCs in that area and also off Oman,
Hmm.
and that is 6 million barrels of crude per day almost. That went in the Fujairah direction. So if that's coming off the market as well, that's going to impact the price, and that's what it's looking like today. When you look at Kepler and marine traffic, etc., and see what's happening in the area.
The two ships that got hit, both of them turned off their transponders, and both of them were not using the easy pass through the Iran pathway, and that's why they got attacked.
Okay, so let's
Yep.
recap from yesterday so that everybody knows what's going on. I'll start it off now that our light banter has turned into wartime analysis because we are at war. Okay, we are at war almost. We're teetering on the edge of how we were at war on day two. Right now, we're throwing at day one levels, right? And they're talking about now retargeting thousands of new targets in Iran that they've not struck since in the first 40 days of this war. I don't know how they're doing this, but part one, as you recall, yesterday we were exchanging shots with the Iranians. Attacked two tankers, both from ADNOC, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, two Liberian tankers. I have learned today, last night, one of them is aflame in off of Corsican, Oman. So it wasn't just you got hit, there's a hole. The ship has been abandoned. The crew has been taken off by the Omani Coast Guard and will likely be a loss. More importantly, I don't know if any of you've been up to the
It's
Musunda
sinking.
Peninsula. I don't know if it's sinking. There's another one that sunk, and I'm going
I
to explain what happened with that. The Luna, the Looney. Um, Go ahead, please.
That's the Luna. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the Luna. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about that ship because there are a lot of things going on out there. So the Iranians are carrying out attacks on ships. The United States, of course, went back and carried out a massive expanded attack yesterday on Iran. This was quickly followed up by Iran carrying out a massive expanded attack against multiple countries yesterday. Let me rephrase that. While you were sleeping, all of this was going on, right? So it started off with the attack on the two ships. We mentioned that yesterday. The two ships that were Liberian flagged belonged to ADNOC. Both of those vessels were damaged. One was set afire. I guess when they abandoned ship, that was the one where one Indian sailor was killed. When they abandoned ship, I guess the fire was not going, but it was a bulk cargo carrier. No, yeah, it was a bulk cargo carrier. Or was it VLCC? I'll have to double check on that, but it might have been a very large crew carrier. Since they abandoned ship, the ship is now not maintaining steerage. It is on fire, which means nobody was there to put out the fire. The crew probably thought the ship might explode. We're going to see the ship as a loss. The second ship was struck also by an anti-ship missile, which, as we've said, there have only been 7, as far as I can count, anti-ship missile attacks since the beginning of this war. Usually they use crewed, the Shahed drones, and they hit up at the top of the ship. These are hitting at just above the waterline, designed to hole and sink the ship. Which is not good because that shows that they still have a capability to really damage these ships and really harm them. So those two ships are one damaged, one aflame, damaged, both abandoned ship. The third ship was not an attack. Yesterday, a bulk carrier called the Looney went through the Strait of Hormuz through the Omani traffic separation scheme. And a lot of people online are claiming that that ship was an attack. I did an analysis across many groups, Mr. Ship Traffic, Maritime Traffic, the UKJMTO, the Omani Coast Guard, the UAE Coast Guard, and it appears that the Looney was actually transiting and then had a ship-to-ship collision. And that the Looney is 32 years old. The other vessel backed off. The Looney cracked at the keel and is sinking by the stern. Was not related to combat, but guess what it was related to? They were using the shallowest part of the southern traffic separation scheme. So trying to avoid Iran caused a complete loss of the vessel. So that's what happened before breakfast. And then the rest of the day
But
emerged.
I have a question. What about the
Yes.
guardian angel? The guardian of the Strait of Hormuz? Where
Project
he
Freedom.
says it's safe, and even CENTCOM repeats it's safe.
I
What's going
can't.
on
I
there,
can't.
Malcolm? I don't get it.
Can I tell y'all something? I struggle. I struggle some days to keep up with this flying fucking bullshit. Can I point out to you, I've been trying to shave for 3 days. I can't. I wake up and it's like 1 a.m. And I got Mario Nwafal calling me. I got NBC News. I had goddamn BBC, did 2 times radios. I'm like, good God, people. And as soon as I get those calls from Mario, I know exactly what's happening. Malcolm, some shit's going down. I was like, I know it's going down. I'm up at 1 a.m. East European time, which means I have to be awake real time to see it. When I'm in the States, it's mid-afternoon. I'm having a martini or Negroni or something. So again, and it's hot. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, and then you have rowdy neighbors who are trying to work. I'm trying to work too. Hold on. I'm going to move temporarily. You guys discuss.
Yeah, yeah. But
Just read
Wajeeh,
it. We just don't want to be.
we didn't get through all of the SIG acts, but anyway, it's this whole storytelling that's
Some guy says
happening
something.
in CENTCOM and with the president that it's all safe and good to go. It's Kremlin style stuff. It's
Well,
Kremlin style stuff.
I was about to advise Trump to reach out to the Saudi government to get to get their assistance on controlling the social media public opinion. You know, the Saudi government has created their own side of electronic warfare where they control the trends on Twitter and on Instagram. So they need to teach Trump how to control public opinion on social media to combat the rest. But the reality is he's all you can see him do is two things. You can see him going to habit, not tactics, because his habit is blackmail, threatening, and then if he doesn't get that, then he backs down a little bit, and then he does that again, maybe in a week or two, and try to see if that changes. He just wants to blackmail you over and over and again. If it doesn't work, he'll try to find another way to try to blackmail you again. That's just a habit. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
tactic at this point. And then the second thing is that you have him trying to get an escalation ladder with people that already owned the peak of the escalation, which is hurting the whole global economy, including the US economy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I've now relocated so I can let that German guy work, right? Uh, it's so funny. These people here are really entitled. That being said, okay, let's continue with the significant activities because there's an enormous amount. I literally
Yeah.
have pages of this stuff. Yesterday, after the tanker attacks, the United States embarked on a series of strikes all across the Indian Ocean, the Persian Gulf, around the Strait of Hormuz, and then into Iran itself. We talked about that yesterday, how the, what do you call it? The Artesh military weapons storage depot was struck up near Ahvaz in southwestern Iran, southwest of Tehran, which indicated, and we said this yesterday, indicated that we don't really trust the Iranian army anymore to be our buddies. But that's okay. That facility, though, was struck by a precision strike weapon, which was launched from Bubiyan Island in Kuwait. The Iranians are claiming that they have struck at least one HIMARS rocket launcher and its associated pods with a loitering munition. Of course, we know at this point, U.S. Central Command does not particularly like to tell the truth about weapons and equipment losses. Iran, in retaliation for the U.S. strikes, started throwing strikes all last night. So let's recap those. Starting off with the big boys, Bahrain.
Hmm?
Bahrain was struck with 30 ballistic missiles yesterday, up from the maximum of 5 that we have seen at this point. They struck Manama Port, U.S. Central Command headquarters again, but they placed a lot of emphasis on the U.S. Air Base at Sheikh Issa. I keep telling you every day that's where the P-8 Poseidon maritime reconnaissance aircraft were flying from. They also believe that they were U.S. HIMARS precision rocket launch systems were being fired at Iran from there. So what did Iran do? They didn't just shoot drones. Oh, no. It was a lot worse than that. They used their most advanced ballistic missile system against Bahrain. Bahrain got hit. Sheikh Issa Air Base got hit with a Khorramshahr 4 ballistic missile. The only country that has ever been hit with a Khorramshahr 4 is Israel. And that's the one
Yeah.
that has multiple independent warheads coming down. By tomorrow, by the way, I'll have my HDMI back up. I'll be able to project on the TV screen behind me the video of these attacks.
Yeah.
Bahrain got hit with those cluster munitions, and the Patriots didn't know, Patriot missile systems had no clue as to what to do. So there's probably the battle damage assessments are being done right now, but I saw that almost in real time last night. Videos were popping up of the Khorram Shah 4 ballistic missiles coming down in Bahrain, and then followed by 30 more. So I think the intention was to overwhelm the Patriot missile batteries.
Yeah.
And most likely they did. We will see what else.
Yeah. There we are.
What the assessment of that. Did you get that? There's the video. Can you play the video? There you go. That's Bahrain, not Tel Aviv. First time in the war, any Gulf state has been hit with a cluster munition ballistic missile because Iran saves this for Israel so that it defeats THAAD, the Theater High Altitude Air Defense, the David Sling, the Iron Dome, and all of those. So this is a significant, you know what this really is, Jacob? It's a
It's
spectacular penetration.
that is precision strikes that are spectacular penetrations.
Oh, okay.
These are just blanket penetrations. That's something different.
Okay, so the Iranian Revolutionary Guard claims that they just fully destroyed the weapons and parts storage facilities at that base, Sheikh Issa Air Base, and the MQ-9 drone deployment ramp. That is the little runway that it takes for MQ-9 Reaper drones to get into air and launch. Right, by destroying the ramp, you of course you've pinned them down there, right? And if you pin them down, that means the next attack can destroy them, right? And of course, well, we'll see about that. They also destroyed, oh no, that MQ-9 deployment ramp was at Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait. They probably were going to destroy the Reaper drones. Tasnim Iranian news claims that they did destroy several drones in Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait. So now we all know the Iranians lie. It is in their national interests to not tell the truth or to be aspirational, to where they put out what they think is going to be coming out, right? What they want to have happen at those bases. However, on the basis of yesterday's attacks, I'm starting to believe they got in some serious ass licks. I haven't even started talking about Jordan yet. So yes, Jacob, anything?
Are you done with Kuwait? Because there's a
No,
significant. Okay.
no.
Okay.
I just finished Bahrain.
Bahrain. Yeah.
Bahrain.
No, that's fine. No more comments on Bahrain.
No more comments.
Okay. There's actually I have videos of ballistic missile launches 15 hours ago from parts of Iran. The United States told us all of the missile launchers and all of the launch areas were destroyed near Tabriz, right? Additional launches in an area called Ormla. All of these facilities in northwestern corner near Turkey and Azerbaijan were reportedly destroyed.
They're supposed to be gone.
These are the easiest ones to fucking hit. They're off of Iraq. They're off of Kurdistan in Iraq, and they're bebopping Jordan and Lebanon, Jordan and Kuwait and Bahrain with them. Oh, and here's the letter. This is the note from the IRGC put on the side of a ballistic missile yesterday. Wajeeh, can you read that? I can't read it out
Yes,
loud.
they claim to have destroyed all or most of Iranian military capabilities, yet they're still being slapped around by Iran. There are two reasons. First, they are laying. Second, they're lying. Second, they are praying. Here, why am I reading off my screen? Second, they are praying prayers and blessings of the prophet Moses, Jesus, and David, and
Oh my God, he
Solomon.
whipped out all the prophets on him.
Yeah, stated behind
Every prophet in the
behind the
Quran lined
nation
up
of
for your
Iran.
ass.
Yes, all the prophets are standing with Iran.
Moses, Jesus, David, and Solomon,
That's
right?
fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't even
What
have to
can go
mention
wrong?
Prophet Muhammad. What can go wrong? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to dip out to put on a battery, but I'm hearing you. That was on the side of an Iranian ballistic missile yesterday.
That's
That's
right.
what they slapped a sticker on it. And then they promptly launched it at US forces. So that being said, let's keep going. Bahrain really got badly hit yesterday. Bottom
Yeah.
line, we haven't seen the damage yet. It's just, it's 6 p.m. over there. I've been moving all day. I haven't seen the damage. I stopped covering at, uh, I stopped covering at about 9, 10 a.m. this morning. So I've been about 5, 6 hours out. Well, as long as we're here, there's that video from Bahrain. Let's talk about Kuwait. Jacob, you have something you'd like to tell the class?
Yeah, I mean, Kuwait was pummeled as well. And interestingly, the IRGC published a statement where they explained to the Kuwaitis that the strikes were not against them. All they wanted was for the Kuwaitis to get the U.S. forces out of Kuwait and to put pressure on the government, etc., etc. And that, to my knowledge, that's a bit of a newbie, but they'll make this game and say, well, you have to get the Americans out. We're not after you.
hmm Well, let me tell you something interesting about Kuwait. Yes, Ali Al Salam MQ-9 Reaper drone ramp was targeted. They claimed that they destroyed multiple Reaper drones on that ramp. But to me, that is not the most significant attack that happened in Kuwait yesterday. And the attack that did happen is on video in multiple examples. Wajeeh, see if you can find the video of the Shaheed drone falling into the warehouse in Kuwait. You'll see it.
Uh,
It's pretty interesting. The Iranians play long ball. I'm telling you guys.
yeah.
I am now starting to become impressed by the Iranians' ability in their target tiering. Yesterday or last night, in the middle of the night, which is why I got bags under my eyes, the Iranians struck a particular warehouse facility in
I
Mina
found it.
Abdullah port. Okay, give me a moment. I'll tell you to bring it
July
up in a moment.
14th or yeah,
Yeah,
July 14th.
one moment. Yeah, it was last night. But let me finish describing what's happening here. The Kuwaitis struck a logistics warehouse complex in a place that I know very well. Mina Abdullah is part of Port Ashweba, and the United States, after Desert Storm, as part of the rebuilding effort and bringing all of our combat equipment into the country and creating Camp Bueling, which is up northwest of Kuwait City, Camp Arf John, which is down in the southwest portion of the country. U.S. Central Command, Army Central Command headquarters is in Camp Bueling, and Ali Al Salam Air Base and Ahmed Jabir Air Bases, where the United States has been since the invasion of Kuwait in 1991. I have been to all of these places, and I lived in Mina Abdullah Port for a little while when I was with EOD Mobile Unit 6. This is the most interesting part of the night. They dedicated a shitload of Shaheed drones against a U.S. Army Defense Logistics Agency contractor called KGL. KGL is the Kuwaiti owned subsidiary of Halliburton, the mega giant company that supports the United States. Halliburton's KGL, Kuwait Ground Logistics warehouse, known as I know this, but the Amazon of the U.S. military in the Persian Gulf. It's the DLA, Defense Logistics Agency, primary warehouse. You guys need cookies brought in, they come through there. You need new uniforms, they come through there. You need tank parts, they come through there. You need fighter jet drop tanks, they come through there. Everything's offloaded by KGL into the Halliburton ginormous effing warehouse there. That's like, I guess it would be a solid mile and a half, maybe 2 miles to run around, kilometers to run around, not miles. It's a big facility. I have seen this facility. They struck this thing last night, knowing it wasn't going to be defended. And they blew the ever-living shit out of it. Wajeeh, hit the play button for everybody. You can see the Shaheeds going in. Boom. That's a Shaheed drone going in after the third or fourth one already hit that facility, and there's more to come. So, KGL, U.S.'s Defense Logistics Warehouse for Kuwait, supporting U.S. Army Central Command forward, all U.S. Army forces in Kuwait, and all major logistics throughout the Middle East just got destroyed. That is long ball. What is that old saying by von Clausewitz about, or whoever it was that says, idiots think or not idiots, but some people think idiots think tactics, strategists think logistics, right? Or captains think tactics, generals think logistics.
Yeah.
This base was the equivalent of destroying Amazon major warehouse in the United States. Okay? U.S. Army ain't getting jack shit right now other than the bullets, guns, and ammunition they have present on them. Now, can we start shipping stuff over? Yes, we could, but guess what? You're going to have to fly it in because the ships that filled that warehouse can't get through the Strait of Hormuz.
It's blocked.
Well, go, please.
It's
blocked. Good God. The Iranians. Okay, can I point something out to you? Ashweba, which is right next to this damn place, where we lost the bulk of those 13 soldiers that were killed in combat, they were in the warehouse nearby. Mm-hmm. And in the entire 120 days since that attack, we put up no fucking defenses of that port except Patriots. People, I'm telling you something. You can shoot down Shaheeds with a 50 caliber machine gun. I've seen it done with AK-47s in Iraq. PKM machine guns, belt-fed machine. All you got to do is put them on the goddamn roof, and when the Shaheeds come, you start shooting. And nobody has defended this. Pete Hegseth should be kicked out of this job right now. But you know what he's going to say? I'm going to say what he's going to say. He's going, well, that's a Defense Logistics Agency contractor. It wasn't the responsibility of the U.S. Army to defend a U.S. Army fucking warehouse full of U.S. Army equipment, chock full of all the spare parts we need for everything. If a Patriot battery goes down and they need a spark plug in there, guess where it was? If it ain't in your battery, it was in that warehouse getting ready to get shipped to you. And some guys will say, oh, yeah, well, we'll just start flying things in. You're going to need every damn transport aircraft we have in the United States to start flying shit in that one roll-on, roll-off ship would have brought in, right, in one trip. But you can't get through the Strait of Hormuz to get up to Kuwait anymore. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to fucking truck it over from Israel. Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, you're not going to be able to use that warehouse, so you're going to have to build a new one, drone-proof it. This is, of all the things that happened last night, that was the most amazing one I saw. Yeah, you're going to blow up Sheikh Issa. You throw 30 ballistic missiles at it, you're going to get that place. But Jesus Christ, they left this whole site undefended because it's contractors, not a U.S. Army. So based on the dead soldiers I see, you don't even defend U.S. Army facilities, right?
Aren't GL's contractors mostly U.S. citizens?
Yes. There's a lot of, what they do is they hire civilian. Yes, you'll have guys who are U.S. Army civilians working at there from the Defense Logistics Agency. You know, the people that bring food, water. Oh, and they said all the U.S. Army's food comes through there. Right? You know what these guys are going to be doing now? They're all going to be running out to Carrefour Express and buying up everything that they get.
No more,
Here's another question. How are the Kuwaitis getting food in?
no more burgers at the chow hall.
Oh, geez, no, I'm going to tell you something right now. That's all you're getting is battle burgers.
Yep.
Nobody's getting that. What we would call A rations, which are your steak, your beans, and all the rest of that stuff. That's burned. That's destroyed. And when those drones hit, the fire suppression system went off. Okay, guys, can I point out to you, this is only the second most significant activity of the night. Okay, there's more disaster coming. We've just started. Okay, that's Kuwait. Let's move on to Jordan.
Ya Allah.
See if you can find the Patriot interceptions at Muwafaq al-Salti Air Base, or the hits at Muwafaq al-Salti Air Base. The Iranians apparently fired multiple drones at Muwafaq al-Salti Air Base. The United States Central Command immediately put out what I could only characterize as a bullshit lie.
What
and
airbase?
said al-Salti in Jordan. And told everyone last night, I know it was 2 a.m. when they put out their statement, that no hits were registered on that base. But I have video of direct hits on that base.
But we've heard that before.
You
For
can see the
120
Patriots.
days, we've heard that repeatedly. They didn't
using
hit us, nothing happened.
They're using different missiles. They're using missiles they would have used on Israel, because that missile was coming down way faster than anything I've ever seen outside of the attacks on Israel. And it just blew past the Patriot like this. I'm like, I don't know if they've got a hypersonic glide weapon or something from Russia. All I know is shit's coming down. A phrase I'm famous for with the Russians. So the U.S. Air Base at Muwafaq al-Salti, where apparently yesterday they struck the night before at the ramp for the MQ-1C, I believe, Triton long range, high persistence, long range surveillance drone, which, by the way, costs $750 million. We already lost one in the Persian Gulf. This drone is operated by the U.S. Navy. It flies near on the edge of space, and it pulls long orbits over days. That base was struck. Also struck was the ramp for the U.S. Navy F-18s and the EF-18 Growler strike aircraft. The ones that are at Muwafaq al-Salti are most likely the U.S. Marine Corps F-18s that for a while were stationed at Dhafra in the United Arab Emirates, and then were transitioned back over to Muwafaq al-Salti. The Iranians are claiming hits. The United States says they didn't get any hits. We have visual evidence of 4 solid hits on that airbase. So we will find out what happened there. The key point that I want to make clear to everybody. Oh, by the way, before we go on, that contract for that base in Kuwait was for $2 billion to support the U.S. Army. So if that base is, that logistics Amazon, U.S. military Amazon is destroyed, $2 billion. Okay, help me, Jesus.
Yeah. But
by the way, some people are saying
it's kind of odd. You have had this whole ceasefire, time to prepare if you really wanted to escalate the situation again. And it doesn't seem that the air defense has been, improved in any way, shape, or form, because we've seen the Iranians in the first 40 days, do well and do spectacular penetrations and and it doesn't seem that that ceasefire has been utilized to improve the defensive capabilities.
Hmm. Well, all I know is
It shouldn't
this.
surprise anyone that the Iranians are doing this.
Yeah, but the Iranians have been doing it incrementally, and you think we would have been like, I don't know, adjusted to them, their tactics, and then been ready for the big onslaught? Right? What makes you think? I'm telling you right now, if they're using the Khorram Shah 4 ballistic missiles on little itty bitty Bahrain, everybody's getting it in the Gulf next. They're going to go,
Yeah.
oh, we're not bebopping Israel anymore. We
No.
got something for them, but for you, you're getting the good stuff now, right? When we hit Dubai next time, yeah, you're going to hit, your Patriot's going to hit the booster or the main warhead, but the other 60 munitions are going to set downtown Dubai on fire. And then we're going to fire 2 or 3 more. And guess what? Your ability, your 96% intercept rate with the Patriot and the North Korea or South Korean missiles you use goes right out the window when we use cluster munitions. You can't hit all 60 of them. You can hit one, maybe, but
Yeah.
no one apparently is acting like this goddamn war was ever going to restart.
No, exactly.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let me see if I can get some more before we go into tacos and nachos. Let me see. Here we are. The United States struck yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz. Kish Island, Kish. I haven't been in Iranian waters in Kish, but I've been off of Kish. Let me tell you, we did a freedom of navigation operation in 1988 after we savaged the Iranian Navy in 1 hour, in one day, one morning. And we decided to make a run across all the islands with my big double-fisted guided missile cruiser and fucking dare people to come out. And we went 12 nautical miles from Larak, Kish, we're always around Abu Musa. There you go. That's a spectacular hit. That's a spectacular penetration video right there. There's a spectacular penetration. Show that. It'll replay again. But as you can see, smoke. There he is. Now watch this thing. Watch this thing. It ain't having fun. Or I say, ain't a funnin'. There it comes. There's a reflection in the mirror of Wajeeh's head, but you can see it. Boom. Unhealthy. Spectacular. That's what we mean when we say spectacular penetration, people. That's what we mean.
That's what we mean.
So thank you, Wajeeh. We're good with that. Kish Island yesterday. So I've run Abu Musa, Hengam, Kish, Larak, Siri Island, Lavan, all of them. Even 12 nautical miles off of Karg Island. Right? It was dicey, but it was done. We were exercising our right to freedom of navigation. After we sank their ship with the last anti-ship missile, we didn't have anything to worry about, right? So that being said, the United States struck Kish Island yesterday. And now we are starting to see what I call a shaping operation. Military terminology of a shaping operation is an operation designed to create conditions that will, over time, favor your next step in the military escalation. So, yesterday, for some bizarre, strange reason, and the day before, we may have mentioned this, Karg Island was struck 2 days ago. And what they struck was one of the oil pumping stations for the West Jetty. That is in the southwest side. For a long while, for a couple of days, people thought it was flares, hot flames coming off the butane and diesel reprocessing plant that's on that island, propane reprocessing. It wasn't. It was the pumping station to the southwest jetty, which means that the jetty that goes all the way out to the southwest of the island, which can handle 2 or 3 ships, Trump struck that as an economic attack. There is a U.S. Forest Service has a satellite that detects major fires around the world, and they'll put it up on Google Earth, and it'll put a little red box over it. There has never been a detected flame at pumping station number 1 on Karg Island. Pumping station number 1 and a sub pumping station have been aflame for 2 days on Karg Island. So somebody attacked that quietly without telling anybody. So it's quite possible it was a spectacular penetration from Kuwait, because it was only 100 nautical miles from Kuwait City. So or it's one of those mythical, the Kuwaitis did it, we didn't do it. I know the Kuwaitis didn't do it, because if the Kuwaitis did do it, they would be getting attacked right now on their oil platforms off of Kuwait City. That being said, which is now becoming one of my favorite phrases, the water desalinization plant and the radar on Quiche Island was destroyed. And I'm going to make a prediction here. I am going to make a prediction that the United States is about to do an amphibious demonstration on Quiche Island, originating from Kuwait or originating in Jordan, flying to Kuwait. They will use Kuwait as a lily pad, rearm, refuel. They will fly at low altitude across the Strait of Hormuz, not the Strait of Hormuz, the northern Persian Gulf, and they will land at Quiche Island, kill everybody, take photographs, turn around, and fly back to Kuwait. That's what I think is going to happen. We refer to this as an amphibious demonstration or an amphibious raid. However, most of our Marine raiders, our special operations guys, or the Marines that are on the USS Bataan float, are in the Indian Ocean, pulling over ships and exercising the blockade, which means you're either going to have to fly Marines up to Kuwait, which they can do on their Osprey aircraft. And if anybody tells me Osprey aircraft have been seen in Bahrain or seen in the United Arab or seen in Kuwait, then we know what the game is. Or they could fly U.S. Army paratroopers who have been in Jordan for 4 months, burning up in the desert, and they could fly in and make an amphibious demonstration, because there is no fucking reason on this planet to have been hitting the port, the radar, and the water desal plant. You want everybody thirsty when you land. Also, can somebody, Wajeeh, can you get Google Earth and see if you can pull up Quiche Island?
Yes.
The location. It's in a weird location. And here's why I find it strange as somebody who has been there off of Quiche. It's in a little gap where, if you look at it, the coast is like this. You have Lavon down here, you have Siri down here, then you have Quiche here, but there's nothing north or west of it. Nothing except a tiny, tiny, tiny little island called Farsi Island, which is about the size of the room that I'm in. Go up to the north, go to the left, left, keep going, halfway up the Persian Gulf.
Quiche.
Keep going, more. Show me Quiche.
Quiche.
See that top one? That's Quiche. Right there. Expand that for us, please. Yeah, there you go. Now, if you go back, what's the island to the left is Lavon, which they claim the United Arab Emirates has already attacked. That one's Lavon, if I'm not mistaken. But zoom out, give us the whole scene. Keep going. Okay, to the right a little so we can see Kuwait. Other way.
Okay.
Your other right. There you go. All right. Now you see it's about parallel to where Bahrain is, right? But we ain't flying jack shit out of Bahrain, and we're definitely not flying out of the United Arab Emirates, and we're definitely not flying out of Qatar. We could just cross into Saudi Arabia, lily pad there at Dammam, Saudi Arabia, right there, and then go over to Quiche. But it is in a unique place that easy in, easy out, not enough assets to the north and south to come at you. That's interesting. Why did we hit the water treatment plant there? Because we don't want the IRGC to have any fresh water. This, by the way, World War II level tactic. right? For those
Yeah.
of you who are cryptologists like me, you know that when we were breaking the Japanese JN-25 code out of Kuniya, Hawaii, we were trying to figure out what was the Japanese base or the base that the Japanese were going to invade, that they had a massive invasion force headed to, and we didn't know. And all we knew is the Japanese were going to a place called AF. And we didn't know where AF was. We didn't know whether it was the Philippines. We didn't know whether it was Midway Island. We didn't know whether it was Hawaii or Attu and Kisu up in the Alaskan island chain, or whether it was going to be some other spot. So we had all U.S. bases, all 3 U.S. bases we thought the Japanese would attack, report in the open that their water desalinization plant had gone down, meaning you are in a desperate situation. So in the Philippines, we told them that their main radio had gone out. In Attu up in Alaska, we told them some bullshit story like the pier was broken. And in Midway Island, we said the water desalinization plant went out. And the Japanese sent a message in their little code, not knowing we could read all their fucking codes, and said that our objective, AF, is out of fresh water because the water desalinization plant went down. And that's how we knew they were going to invade Midway. And that's how we surprised them with 3 aircraft carriers they didn't even know was there until we attacked them. Yay, Malcolm, water desalinization really played a role in history. You're right. Why are we attacking the water desal plant at Quiche? It's a war crime because there are civilians that live on that island too. So keep that one, put a pin in that one. That's going to be interesting.
I
We
was going to
did
make a
this.
different prediction.
Oh, you're going to make a different prediction? Go ahead. I'm game.
Iran is going to attack desalination plants to its
Yeah.
neighboring countries.
Don't go there. Don't go there. That's total war. That's total war.
Yeah.
Total war. Something big has to happen. Now, all this bullshit talk about Pickaxe Mountain. Now we're going to talk about the Pickaxe Mountain. Could you bring up a photograph of Pickaxe Mountain, Wajeeh? I see you're the only one who has an imagery here. Just Google it. I've got images of it in front of me right now on my laptop, but this is not clear.
Eddie,
I don't know if you see that. This is a Wajeeh, I got it. This is a mountain complex that is northwest of the Natanz nuclear complex. You see on this chart, that's Natanz nuclear complex. All of these little arrows are construction and access ways to a mountain, a real mountain. Now, Natanz is built into a mountain too, and we spent a shitload of time bombing it. But apparently we never bombed this. The
it's very odd.
Iranians are clearing entryways into this, and suddenly this place, Pickaxe Mountain, has become America target number 1 in the next phase of the war. Journalists yesterday were asking Trump about, hey, what the hey with Pickaxe Mountain, right? And they're like, oh, we see power lines, we see ventilation structures. And Trump was like, well, I'm not going to talk about Pickaxe Mountain. Bitch, that's you talking about Pickaxe Mountain. All right? How many of you, I'm going to be straight up with you, other than Jacob, me, and maybe even Wajeeh. Maybe Wajeeh is one of you. How many of you have ever heard the name Pickaxe Mountain before I just referenced it? Right? Wajeeh, had you heard about it? That's correct, because they never bombed that motherfucker. What the hell were they doing during this war? Maybe they hit some vent shafts near there. Maybe they took a pot shot. But see, it was under construction. Now the assessment is that Pickaxe Mountain is actually a secret nuclear future centrifuge site, that if they open up Natanz or Isfahan, they'll move all of that shit in there because it's under 1,000 meters of mountain. Which means
MashaAllah.
there's nothing we can do to that mountain short of nuking it. Not joking. You could close
Yeah,
the
no,
entrances, but like I keep telling you guys, they have excavators and dump trucks. They have kids with shovels.
inside the mountain, not outside, inside the tunnels. They don't have the excavators, they have them both ways. So when they excavate from both sides. They have medical centers, they have engineering centers in there. It is the state of the art. It's the same thing that you see in Switzerland, same thing you see in deep mountains you've heard about in movies, same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I
So we did
that's what
not
I heard.
strike pick. We did not strike Pickaxe Mountain yesterday, but I know we struck another bridge, which they claim was a line of communications, bridges, lines of communication, which is what you call one point of a road to the other point of the road, are legitimate targets in terms of war, which is why you don't see anybody complaining about Ukraine blowing up things. But when Ukraine blows up a power plant in Russia, for example, like in the city of Volgorod, Volgorod is the single largest military base in southwestern Russia. It's the base they launched the invasion of Ukraine from. And it's like 20 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, right? So when they knock out power in Volgorod, they are knocking out power to a base. When Russia drops a Shahed or drops a ballistic missile into an apartment complex in Kyiv, that's a war crime, right? When they blow up power plants in the middle of winter to make the civilian population freeze to death, that's a war crime. Just want to point these differences out.
Yeah.
So the
And
United States.
the thing is, Malcolm, we can also explain it in a different way. The impact of blowing up a bridge on Iran's military performance is very, very limited. I mean, it's almost no impact whatsoever. For Russia and for its ability to, logistics and et cetera, it's crucial. But Iran, it's a whole different ballgame.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit. That is, other than that, the United States was attacking Chabahar, Jask, Sirik, Bandar Abbas, Hashem, Bushir, you name it. They struck it yesterday again. And now we're starting to wonder whether some of these attacks are shaping operations because there is a lot of talk amongst the Republican right in the United States for Trump to carry out a ground operation and to seize the Strait of Hormuz, which brings a lot of talk into perspective. Now, I don't know how they think that they're going to carry this out. And as Trump says, we're just going to take it, right? Yeah, you
But
can take it off.
what about the Marine unit that was on its way from San Diego and turned back? What happened to that?
No, that's the USS Bataan. The Bataan is still on a float. It's still there. The Bataan finally, it took it 2 months to finish partying and training in Japan and with big stops down in Singapore, and finally got into the Indian Ocean about 3 weeks.
I
Right?
did.
And
Okay.
yeah, which is a good thing. Now, the key question that you want to ask yourself is, well, if the Bataan is there, where's the USS Tripoli, which would have given them 5,000 Marines, but only about 2,000 of whom would be part of the amphibious landing force, because about 1,000 of them are fighter pilots and maintainers for the Marine jets, right? The other 2,000 are logistics guys who would land and bring in armored vehicles and things like that. But I just want to get the latest for you as of 3 hours ago. Yes, the USS Tripoli, oh, their life has to be effing miserable. They've been there since January. The USS Tripoli is still steaming circles in the Indian Ocean, and they've had no port visits. I don't even have any register that they went down to the Seychelles. That's their like, hey, let's take a break. The Seychelles is 1 day steaming from there. They didn't go to Mumbai and they didn't go to Karachi. And that ship's got 5,000 armed men and sailors on board, right? 2,500 sailors, 2,500 Marines, and they have been pulling circles since the beginning of this war. It's February, at least since February, the end of February. That's both both amphibious task forces are there. That does give them a relatively goodish capability. But as we said several times during this show, and not this show, during this podcast, go back to my Substack saying U.S. On U.S. ground invasion operations in Iran. And you'll find out that our study in 1988 that we did at Commander Middle East Force determined that you would require 6,000 Marines, and you couldn't just land on Larak Island or Hengam Island. You had to land on fucking all of them. And that's 8 major islands. And while you're landing there, the shore, also known as Iran, is bombarding you with everything that you have. Yes, Jacob.
Guys, I gotta leave because I gotta pour drinks. Our visitors are here. So I gotta pour drinks. So,
Cheers, mate.
So have a good
I'll
one.
see you. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.
We're going to questions here anyway. We've only got one other piece of breaking news, which was Trump's comments about attacking Iran next week with everything we got. Everything. Power plants get
exactly.
it. Bridges get it. All civilian infrastructure gets it next week. Let me tell my enemy a week in advance, though. All right, go on.
Exactly.
You get out of here.
It's super clever. Yeah, see ya.
Yeah. Bye-bye. All right, Jacob, this is crazy. Oh, wait a minute. The Tripoli. Oh, no. No. Andaman Sea, the Tripoli, as of 2 days ago, was down near India, maybe leaving, but I don't think they're going anywhere. All right, Wajeeh, we have only a couple of other things that of madness last night. Like I told you, I spent hours awake. I was so tired, and I had a meeting this morning. I pushed back everything 1 hour. I was up. I went to bed almost near three. And every time I tried to get off Watch, every time I would refresh, some new attack happened.
Great.
I wouldn't be
To me,
surprised right
yesterday
now.
was a very busy day.
Marion Waffle already tried to contact me during this show, so I wouldn't be surprised if strikes are going on right now. I am checking. So Donald Trump made an interview.
If there's any strikes, all I see is the video released by the U.S. regarding the U.S. strike on the Marine Control Tower in Iran. That's all I see. But that happened last night.
Well, we've got this discussion point. Donald Trump did an interview on Fox News with Trey Yingst, a journalist on Fox News, and it was chock full of crazy. All right, let me get you. It's only 16 hours old. Some of you may have seen it. Trey Yingst asked Donald Trump, "Do you believe the Iranians are serious about making a deal?" Trump says they have no choice. They look like they got a choice. All right. Yingst says, "Well, then why haven't they?" And this is Yingst asked some pretty good straight questions. Okay, are you ready? I want all of you who are watching this show to stop drinking water. Take the coffee cup away from your mouth. Okay? Stop eating food. Okay? And I want you to understand that I don't have my beret of crazy nearby. Otherwise, I would put this on. So he goes, they have no choice, says Trump, says they have no choice. He says, what then? Why haven't they made a deal? Okay? Look where his crazy ass mind goes. They never made a deal with Obama.
What?
Okay, wait. There's more. What they did was sign a worthless piece of paper.
Come on. What?
When the black, that song, when the black guy did it. Ooh, everything's the same. And when the black guy did it, it ain't a deal because only white guys can make deals, y'all. And what they did sign was a worthless piece of paper that I tore up. And now I'm giving them 300 billion. Oh, no, I'm not giving them 300. They're going to get 400 billion out of this when this is over and done with. Mark my words.
It is all Obama's fault. He did not ask Trump his advice when he was talking to the Iranians.
That is the first bit of crazy. Okay. Second bit of crazy. Fox News Trading asks, shipping data shows just 10 vessels passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday, less than 10% of what normally goes through, right? No, less than 10% of what normally would have gone through under Trump. 300 ships on average go through the Strait of Hormuz, right? When you say the strait is open, what do you mean? First off, who let this journalist into the room? These are some these are some straight up good questions, right? I mean, where do you get that from? Right? So, Trump says, it's open. Okay, you guys, coffee mugs down, drinks down. Clear your throat. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 seconds to clear your throat. Everybody do that. Get the spit out of your mouth so that you don't do a spit take onto your monitor. Trump says, it's open if people want to go through it. We're coming up with he says, here's the rest of it. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas and Alaska. How do you think the emirs of the Gulf states and the king of Saudi Arabia? I look at Teresa Sylvia's dying laughing. Like everybody's going, what? What? Guys, it's open if you want to go through it. That door with the building on fire, where all the beams are falling down and gun battle is raging through it, that place, yeah, you're free to walk through it. It's open, right? That's like saying, that's like saying
There's
you're
literally
in.
mines.
It's open. Wajeeh, it's open. The only problem, look, if you want to go through where the mines are, you want to go through where the gun battles are raging, you want to go through where the anti-ship missiles are flying, and you want to go with the U.S. Navy who's getting shot at and making them shoot more at you, it's open. The door's open, right? It's like the door open to one of those Scream movies, okay, where the guy's standing there with the knife and they go, run! And you run the wrong way. You want to run past him. This is Donald Trump's idea of you're free to pass. Oh, Christ. Okay. With that being said, which I've said 30 times today, which is now my new expression of holy shit, this is stupid. Let's go on to the next utterly amazing thing Donald Trump said. I told you all night, all day, this was going on. Trey Ying's asked him, do you still intend to take Karg Island? Don't. I bet you he's going to say, no, Quiche Island. But, okay,
We're
glasses
gonna take them
down,
all.
glasses down, throat's cleared. Trump says, so I can't say that to you because if I did, it would be foolish. ... in parentheses, but I just said it.
Mashallah.
All right, next, part 2. But it would be nice. It would make it would make a little headlines. That's all this guy thinks. It would make little headlines. You've already struck the island. We know that a shaping operation's going on. I shit you not, I would not be surprised if you see Marines and airborne land on both Quiche and Karg Island at this point. We have now gone out of the cycle of stupid. We are in Robert Pape's steps of escalation. It's just that every time there's a step, there is a cycle of stupid first, and then we go to the next one. We are one day from total war in this thing. We are really, really, really close to going back into total war. Okay, that is not the last of the stupid things that have been said about the Strait of Hormuz. President, this one's for you, Watch. President Nance's ladder of stupidity. I might adopt that. Thank you. President Trump claims he now, just now, 17 hours ago, right, which is yesterday evening, just now received a wonderful phone calls from the Middle Eastern kings and emirs,
Mashallah.
pledging billions of dollars in investments, right, in the United States, right,
Yep.
instead of him imposing his 20% tariff tax on all ships going in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. He has now tacoed and will not impose that 20% tariff. So yesterday was indeed Taco Tuesday. Trump
I have to
always
say,
chickens out.
I really appreciate you bringing this up. On one
Mhm.
hand, this just degrades the U.S. credibility on an international stage once more. Where the United
Mhm.
States that has held a policy since its existence of open maritime trade that is the most capitalistic thing America has been fighting for since its existence, right? And then you have Trump coming in saying, "Oh, we're going to impose our own 20% tax on all ships." You have Gulf states coming out. If that's true, I feel like he's gotten several calls from European and Asian allies. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You're like straight up, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then he's had Middle Eastern allies that are also saying, "What the fuck are you doing? If you want money, we've been giving you money. We are buying, we're still investing in your economy. Just let us know." Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you even
What are
talking
you
about?
even talking about?
Like,
What are
we,
you talking
we
about?
said we're investing in your economy. You want us to invest more? Sure, we'll invest more. Just stop your 20%. And he'll say something like that. So,
But wait, there's more.
wait, more.
These news agencies were asked about this, okay? Were asked, or I'm sorry, news agencies asked the major Gulf states news medias, the official state media across the Gulf, including the Saudi press agency, UAE's WAM, Qatar news agencies, and Kuwait's Kuna, have all declined to verify or announce that there was any new investment pledge to the United States in the last 24 hours. In other
Exactly.
words, he made it up. Just made it up. And when a pathological liar lies, he's a psychopath. So of course, what do you expect?
Again,
Halas.
I just think people called him up and straight up said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Mm,
Like, you're literally about to lose every country in the world that stood by your side ever in your history.
yeah. So Admiral James Stavridis, a friend of mine, I was on MSNBC. We were contributors together. Great guy, former U.S. Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, former U.S. Southern Command commander, has had major combat command experience around there. This is a great comment he made yesterday. I do not understand. He's being throttled by Elon Musk. It only has 237 likes. But he made this comment. Our allies are going to ask a hard question. Is the U.S. protecting the strait or monetizing it? Those aren't the same mission, and conflating them risks the coalition that we need. Well, I don't even think we have a coalition
I mean,
anymore. He's out there, the Gulf kings and emirs are calling me and saying, Donald, I have tears in my eyes. Please, please, Donald, take away the 20% tax for the merchant ships, and we will give you hundreds of billions of dollars in investment to open factories in America, Donald, because we respect you so much. Help me, Jesus. No, this is just too much.
I don't know.
Um,
There's breaking news, if you don't mind.
no, we can't deal with breaking news at this point. Go ahead.
Oh.
What is it?
Uh, mm, a lot of influential Iranian clerks are coming out and saying we oppose any resumption of any further talks with the U.S.
Hmm.
So
Oh, that's fun.
the war is back on. The clerks are calling for the war to get back on.
Red
The influential leaderships are the ones that are like raging it on at this point.
red flag of revenge has been waved. But you expect that the imamate, right, the clerical leadership would always do this, right? When the red flag's raised, they all fall into line. It's sort of like Islamic jurisprudence. When you go to have you ever been to an Islamic court?
Yes.
You haven't. Oh, you have. Were you on trial?
No.
In the United Arab Emirates, they have two separate courts. They have the British law court, then they have the Islamic court. Every country has this. But in the UAE, they had three kinds of judges. The judge who will say, this man, yes, he has broken the law, but we must be charitable and give people more chance. This is how the
Forgiveness.
prophet would do it. Peace be upon him, right? The second
Yep.
judge will say, but I have read the hadith. I have read in the Quran, yes, we must be charitable, but we cannot let offenders go. And we must give some form of punishment. So that's the moderate guy. So you have the liberal guy, the moderate guy. Then you have the third guy, who is actually the decision maker for the court. And he will go, our laws have been broken. Laws must be upheld. He must get the maximum punishment. And the moderate guy will side with the hardline guy, but they've gone through the pantomime. Okay. And your ass is getting the maximum. I've had people over there get convicted of things, but that's why they have a three-judge panel, right? There's always room for some compassion to be expressed on the bench. I think this Iranian imamate is all going, we're all in, we're all unified, we're not going to make any waves.
Another thing about Sharia law and how it differs from European law, from its own essence, it doesn't necessarily look to see if there was a law has been broken to begin with. First, it sees if there's a problem that needs to be solved. Because if
Mhm.
there's a problem that needs to be solved and can be resolved, then the judge will try to resolve that. So you'll see, like
Mhm.
in Saudi courts, where the judge will say, "Forgive him. He's your neighbor." Especially if it's like financial stuff or basic stuff that has nothing to do with death penalty, or you'll see that the judge first will try to get into mediation, and if that doesn't work, we'll get to the next step. But
Okay.
it's different than the European law, where they first look if there's a law that's broken or not.
Okay. Last piece of significant activity yesterday, as if there wasn't enough. This aircraft, called a Tu 214 PU, Papa Uniform, flew from Moscow to Tehran airport yesterday. This is the equivalent of the Russian airborne command and control post for nuclear war. But they believe it was part of the Russian special mission flight, that they were carrying a delegation down there, maybe to talk about giving Iran hypersonic missiles, glide missiles. But also, with that aircraft in Tehran, what will the Americans not do? They will not bomb that airport. And that airport is where Mehran Airlines has been bringing the negotiators to Yemen and Pakistan. Doomsday aircraft. Let me read a description that this is considered one of the hardened special flight detachment, is one of the country's most heavily protected airborne command posts. No official comments were given about why it was in Iran. I think it was to send a very distinct message to Donald Trump, no, and Benjamin Netanyahu. You're not going to be doing any strategic decapitation campaigns while we're there. Then again, they could have flown out this morning, but we definitely didn't hit that place yesterday now, did we? Interesting. also called Russia's doomsday aircraft. Because if there is total war in Russia and atomic bombs go off, that aircraft goes airborne with the military command and then has that dome on the top and antennas they trail out of it, has the ability to command Russia's atomic bomb force. Okay, do not come up into the chat with World War III things. I don't think it signifies World War III. I think it was a message to General Kane and Pete Hegseth. But I don't think Pete Hegseth would have understood the message. So maybe Marco Rubio would have gotten it. Okay, we went through 1 hour and 23 minutes of crazy. In case you guys wonder why we had to start an hour late, that stuff was going till 3 this morning, and then I went to bed and I woke up at like 8:45, and I was like, hey, I haven't even written all this shit down. That's how much that went on. And by the time we hang up, this cycle of stupid will all begin again. And you know, Donald Trump right now is preparing to make some dumbass post that we haven't seen yet. Just to be on the safe side before I go to questions, I'm going to go under the word breaking and see
Oh, the
if
breaking is U.S. added more sanctions against Iran 2 minutes ago.
Okay, this came from Mario Noirfall, and it came from Axios, of course. This is 5 hours ago. Trump is preparing a massive escalation against Iran, and he just laid it out in the Situation Room. Trump held a high-level meeting yesterday to plan for far wider than current operations around the Strait of Hormuz with the explicit goal. This is crazy. Watch it. Heads up.
I'm listening.
Look me. Shuf me. Belani. Look at me in
And
the eyes.
Abshir.
With the explicit goal of breaking the regime's will.
What? With what tool are you going to break their will? You can't break
Hookers and
people's
blow.
faith.
Hookers and blow. I mean, that's their only option. I mean, I think Trump is he out of his mind? You could nuke them and that would not break their will. I'm not joking. I've been in this region my whole life. These are not Gulf Arabs. 93 million people living in mountains, y'all. More mountains. One military analyst said Iran's mountains make Afghanistan look like little sand castles on a beach. They got real ass mountains in Iran. What? Is he out of his mind? All right. He is pushing for a wider offensive aimed at breaking their will, forcing the regime to open the strait and accept America's nuclear demands, which means Donald Trump has lost his fucking mind. So that's why he said next week we will hit power plants, blah, blah, blah. This ain't going to happen, people. This ain't going to happen. I hope he gets a bunch of calls from emirs and kings. And they go, you got to open that damn, you got to flex. Time for MOU 2. MOU 2. So that is the breaking news that we had. I don't even want to look anymore. This is interesting. There's a report 12 hours ago, which means midnight last night, that the United States struck a wheat storage silo in Hovazeh County, Hovazeh province, and a silo located at the Dasht Azgadan County in southwest Iran. This is the first U.S. strike on an Iranian food infrastructure supply in the war. I don't know how that got through. And one last one that happened at 2 a.m., Iran threatens to target the Fujairah-Habshan pipeline, which they've hit before, and threatened to attack the Saudi Arabia's Akaiq Jianbu pipeline. So now it's on the record, quote, not a single drop of oil or gas will be exported in the region. Either way, everyone exports or no one does. That's a significant piece of news. All right, that's enough. Let's go to questions.
Let's do it.
Because we have gone super long. It's going to be a 2-hour show today. And I don't have the time. I mean, I have the time, but Jesus, man. In case you guys wondering what yesterday was like, this is what it was like. So let me go to the chat. I put up the chat at 2 in the morning. Listen, I want to appreciate you guys. I know there's a lot of hearts flying here. We haven't done this in a long time. If you appreciate the intelligence we're giving you, which is now making you super smart, press those heart buttons right there. That does affect the algorithm. We do get credit for all of that. For those of you who are watching, who are not paid subscribers, this is how we give this to you every day. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There is another program that will likely be starting in August because there's too much crazy shit happening in the US political scale that I'm ignoring. I would like to go back to a global geopolitical show for the first hour and then have a separate American politics show. Because you guys know, I also run a, uh, a what do you call it? A 501c3 called
No.
FAFO PAC, FAFO PAC, which stands for F around. No, it doesn't. It stands for Focused Action, Focus Objection, leading up to the protests that are supposed we are having nationwide protests at the end of August. I believe the date they're looking at is August 30th, going into the midterm. So we're going to get political because there's a lot of political stuff I can't talk about on this show. I can't sit and talk about Pete Hegseth's, study. He ordered a study yesterday essentially to take all U.S. military women out of combat and out of combat roles, which means U.S. Navy ships will now empty of women. They'll put them all in secretarial pools out there. I
Officially,
don't
the
have time
gayest
for that.
thing the U.S. military will be doing.
Yeah. The gay thing? What'd
The
you say?
gayest thing. I said this is officially the gayest thing the U.S. military will be doing.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's just absolutely madness upon madness upon madness. As going out there. So a lot of that went on. Let me go to the questions. I know yesterday's questions and answers weren't sent out yesterday. I posted them live just now. I'm going to go to our questions, our chat. And wow, you guys must be tired. Only 79 supplies. But, and I guess that 1 hour has thrown you off. Wajeeh, you and I are going to have a discussion at the end of this show about how we auto update, auto schedule this show because I have not quite figured that out. So that is something we need Substack to do so that when I do a schedule, that it sends out emails to everybody 24 hours in advance. And some people are getting them when I do the updated schedule, some people don't. And check your notification settings, people. If you're waiting for me to do like an emergency Substack, which I'm sorry, if I do an emergency Substack in the next 2 weeks, it's bad. Okay, we have shifted to another level of the war. I just want to warn you now. Okay, be on the lookout for my emergency Substacks because I am really trying to keep it to where we maintain the 24 hours that cycle that we had. But somebody said, "Hey, why didn't you do a Substack when the fighting broke out?" We know this tit for tat shooting is going every night now.
Yep.
I would be waking your asses up in the middle of the night every night. You don't want that. Somebody says, does this administration know that Quiche and Kishem Islands are two different islands? That's possible. It's possible they said hit the Kishem Island desalinization plant, which they had done before. But there are 54 villages on Kishem Island that rely on that water. The kicker is Quiche, Larak, Hormuz, those tiny islands, water desal plants are small. Kishem Islands is big, but those are the only desal plants in the entirety of Iran. Iran gets less than 1% of its water from water desalinization plants. Dubai gets 100% of its water from water desalinization plants. United Arab Emirates gets 40% of its water from desal plants. Kuwait, 100%. Bahrain, 100%. Adamam, Saudi Arabia, nearly 100%, right? If you hit those desal plants, I'm not joking. It will look like the Iraq invasion of Kuwait City when 20,000 cars were leaving the city simultaneously, right, to drive to Saudi Arabia. not just to get water, but to leave their homes, right? Because you know, a lot of Kuwaitis flew to the West. They all flew to Paris, right? All those rich Kuwaitis while we had to
Mhm.
go in and fight. If they got no water in Kuwait, you're going to see that country. The country's really Kuwait City and the coastal beach communities. To be honest, it's not that big, but you're going to see them all leave airline tickets to the airport. And you're not going to truck in bottled water. You would have to truck in bottled water by the millions of bottles, right? And that's where Egypt is waiting, right? They're going to have their Egyptian bottled water trucks going all the way across Jordan, which has water and water springs, Align water from in the United Arab Emirates, Iraq bottles water, Kufa water, next to Kufa Cola, the Kufa Cola factory. So these,
Coca-Cola. Forgot about that.
bro, Kufa Cola is real. It's delicious.
I forgot
Anyway,
about it. No, I just forgot about it. That's just a long time I haven't
okay.
heard it.
Vladinator says, I think you guys should have 48 hours off. Oh, no. Oh, no. You know why? Guess what will happen when we take that 48 hours off? Let's see in the chat. Let's see in the chat. What do you guys think will happen in that 48 hours? Make some predictions. What would happen if we said, hey, guys, we're going to take 2 days off? Casey says, hell's no. Kufa Cola's real, y'all. Nuka Cola. Nuclear war, says Joe Voorhees.
Coca-Cola.
Well,
Uh,
you know what? Nuclear war. I'm not joking. Seriously. Mashallah. God forbid. Lastaghfirullah, right? God, please forbid this. They would parachute into freaking Natanz and Shuis Mahu Mountain, Pickaxe Mountain, and they would put a fucking 5 kiloton nuke down that shaft. And then they would
yeah.
fly out with losses. And then as soon as they hit Iraqi airspace, that nuke would go off. I've mentioned this several times in this show that is the only viable option for them to end the Iranian nuclear program is to break through, dig a hole in the tunnel, put a 5 kiloton nuke down there, and then say, hey, listen, it wasn't big. It was 14 kilotons smaller than the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bomb, and it was blown up underground. Let's consider this a nuclear test. That's exactly what would happen if we took 48 hours off. Listen to Lalisa's like, don't advise them, Malcolm. Don't give them any ideas. Sister, we ain't giving them any ideas, right?
They already got all the ideas. We're just trying to figure out what they're thinking.
And somebody's right. Somebody says the knowledge they have of all this stuff is in their head. But we're saying if we actually go down there, right? And we dig out, well, let's say we take 3 days to dig out an access way, and they get down there and they start putting dosimeters, right? Nuclear radiation detectors down there, and they get a hit. They get a hit on the 480 kilograms of nuclear material, which I don't know how they get a hit because it's lead shielded in scuba tank like objects and it does not emit radiation. You would have to open those things, and that ain't healthy, right? Who wants to be the guy? Where's Private Joe Blow? Joe Blow, get over here. Blow, get over here. Open that tank. See what the radiation meter says. It'll be a Marine too, right? It'll be like nothing, billions of rotogens of radiation. That guy's sterilized the minute he opens that tank. And then they say, okay, we're going to put our nuke down here. Okay, that's the sort of thing that would happen. Paul Krugman, Mark R. says, Paul Krugman posted that reduced demand from high prices, pipeline distribution, reserve releases, and China's reduced imports
Mhm.
have kept oil prices lower than expected.
That's
However,
right.
he did say that reduced refining capacity due to Ukraine striking refining capacity in Russia will keep refined products high, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel. Please discuss. We discussed this numerous times. I got to send you over to Mr. Global on YouTube or Substack. That guy is neck deep in the minutia of this and tank bottom. Another question. Mary E says, based on this, will military academies return to all male? I think no. I think he'll say, yeah, but the women have to be logistics officers. But we just saw a logistics base get fucking vaporized. The 13 people that were killed at the beginning of this war were logistics people,
Yeah.
right? What does he think? Roasted Pistachio says, hi, Wajeeh and Malcolm and Wajeeh. We never hear that a mobile missile launcher has been struck. Is there any way mobile and stationary missile launchers can be identified and struck? Yes, several were struck at the beginning of this war. We were getting that a lot, and they estimated they may have struck as much as 20% of their ballistic missile launchers. Yeah, but that's out of 50,000 missiles. Okay.
And we have to remind people a lot of these missile launchers, a lot of these missiles are at least 500 meters deep inside mountains that our missiles,
Mountains.
mountains that our missiles and bunker busters won't get to. Therefore you might have destroyed 20% of the things that you know about. There's
Mhm.
other things you don't know about. And the Iranians' message that was posted on all of their bombs recently, message to Trump that if you thought that you have destroyed all of our missiles and our missiles are still falling on you, then we must be having more missiles, wouldn't we? So the message is quite clear.
Okay, we just answered Michael Matson's question. Can a U.S. deliver a nuclear weapon deep enough into Pickaxe Mountain to set off basically an underground explosion? No, the purpose of dropping a nuke inside there is to drop the mountain on it, to make the mountain implode and fall in so that it is there forever, right? Whatever's down there. What if you fucking lose in special forces and Marines and paratroopers getting shot and killed, and you get down there and you find fucking nothing but a cavern that they haven't filled? Right? What are you going to go back with your nuke? That's going to be interesting. What U.S. action would precipitate a response from the IRGC against Gulf states' desalinization plants? That one. That one. That would be the one. And if we were to do that, we were to go down there and use nukes or land 3,000 troops down there, all bets are off. All fucking Gulf states are getting it. Everything's going. And you know what else is going to go? I'm sure they got 200 missiles set aside for I'm even afraid to use the words, the Baraka nuclear power plant down in South United Arab Emirates. And they already remember, they put a Shaheed into the backup generator. The
Just
backup
to show that
generator is
they're
what
able to reach up.
the backup generator is the thing that drops the rods that shut down a reactor if there's an emergency. But if the backup generator's blown, you're going to have to run in there and start cranking that shit down. Okay, but they have other generators, but it's bad. Okay. We've discussed a lot of this. How many chaplains would sail on a ship, not a boat? A boat is a submarine, or it's a tiny, tiny little thing. A ship is what we have. On a ship like the USS Bataan, two, one for the Navy, one for the Marine Corps Air Wing, with one or two chaplains' assistants, right? Because guys feel bad, and we keep those chaplains around. Michael, yeah. So, Malcolm, please talk about troop morale. Linda Whitey, I know you're worried about it. Troop morale is always. I'm gonna be honest with you. It sucks to be on a float, especially when you could be in Monte Carlo, or you could be in Nice, or getting drunk off your ass in Marseille, or some cool place like Malta, or even Haifa. Right now, they got Russian hookers. You know, hey, these are the kind of places you would be. These guys would accept Karachi, Pakistan. And the reason they won't go there is because there's a lot of people, a lot of Shia Muslims that will slit your throat. Okay. But that being said, that's number 5 times I said that today. Um, uh, that being said, the morale is going to be good when you're fighting, when you're engaged in combat. You feel like you're doing something. Where it's going to get bad is when they come off that float and they get back to the United States and everyone fucking hates Donald Trump and technically by extension the military for doing what they did. They're going to hate that. Holy shit. We have really pushed this show long. Okay. I am going to end it there. There's a lot of questions about Ukraine. I like how the guy said a lot of spectacular demonstrations. And somebody said, do you think the Gulf countries are sustaining the bulk of damage from the war or putting any serious pressure at all on Trump administration to curb his
Absolutely.
ego and walk away? They're doing it, but Trump don't give two fucks. Trump doesn't care.
Yes.
It's very clear from these interviews. He is now adopting that strategy Michael Cohen warned about in his discussion about Trump and how he negotiates. Trump now believes he is now into the I will not reward bad behavior. Hard reality is going to come to this. It's going to suck for everybody, people. It's going to suck for everybody. That being said, this is one of the longest shows we ever did. If this war escalates, we could go, if I do breaking news and I'm over here in Europe or wherever it is that I'm at in Europe, because I'm going to be moving around, things are bad. Okay. I don't like coming out, and I'm not going to joke. If I come out and I say, hey, okay, this war has gone to a new level we haven't seen since 1945. If I start my briefing with that, go to Walmart, pack up some extra food, keep it around. People are going to start acting stupid around the world. But that is the only option the United States has to escalate further. We can put ground troops out there. It's dumb as hell. But the only thing that we can do, because he's like completely focused. He's completely focused on this new escalation option. And Professor Robert Pape, who I have the greatest respect for, believes that Trump is going to do something drastic because he's getting desperate. So, halas. Nostradamus predicted this. No, Nostradamus predicted this. Was that actually? Iodine pills. All right. Nostradamus predicted this. Nostradamus predicted this. All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this has been a long one. If you're watching it on YouTube, you bore with us, even though we started an hour late. Thank you very much. This assessment we gave, way too much stuff last night. We will probably have a lot more tonight. We will be back as usual. I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm going to schedule it. We may have 9, depending whether we have 10. Right now, I am holding. I am holding at the 9 a.m. for tomorrow. Please watch the notifications. I will put it out in advance. We are working with Substack on the notifications. Please check your notification settings on email and to be notified, because I get notifications all day. Every time Wajeeh puts out one of those big ass articles of his, it pops up, under my Substack notifications. Look at that. Oh, I like the Canadian flag parts. I didn't know you could do that. That's a new feature.
I didn't know that either.
All right. Yeah, we love y'all too. So tomorrow we will see you. Hopefully it will just be regular warfare. Yeah.
I have an important appointment coming up here in an hour, so I will have to postpone my Q&A an hour after as well. I will give you a call though after this right away to talk about the scheduling issue with Substack.
Okay. No problem. All right. Hey, one last thing I'd like to thank. I would like to thank Funky. You all know who you are, right? Muscat Sally, Richard, and Pam. Did I miss anybody? These are the people who came to Paris and while I was there, and went and did a little memorial ceremony with me at the Pantheon with Josephine Baker, and had drinks at the Hemingway bar in Paris as part of the OSS honorific to that. I had time in Paris, so I gave the Hemingway bar has one of my original. They have all these pictures of Hemingway, but they have patches from police forces, military forces. And I gave them their first Ukrainian International Legion patch that is now on the wall in a place of honor at the bar in the Hemingway bar. Let me warn you, arguably some of the most expensive drinks I have ever had in my life. So, so go there, beware. But it was a great time. We had a great time, and now I'm traveling. I'm in other parts of Europe, and I will be moving around. So please bear with us. But we are here to educate you. We are here to keep you smart. If you like me and you like me so much and you want to go to these meetups and you want to have talks and private chats, you can become a paid subscriber at $70 a year for the basic level. That's $7 a month. And I just don't understand you guys who do chargebacks saying that your product wasn't delivered. This product is delivered every day and has been for the last 141 days. I was like, we're going on vacation at day 45. Sucker. I'm such an idiot. So that being said, mwah, Bridget Lawson, thank you for subscribing, becoming a paid subscriber. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, Waj. We'll talk soon.
I'll talk soon. Thank you for having me.